Hello, my name is Nick Williams. I work with Wyoming State Forestry Division as a fire resource forester helping with fuels mitigation. Today we're here at the Adams property to be looking at defensible space. Defensible space is the area around the home that you want to help lower the amount of fuels and in the attempt to try to prevent a wildfire from destroying the home, and there's a lot of different ways that we can consider doing that. So we've talked a little bit about the natural fuels around this property and how they relate to the effects of wildfire, but at the same time we have to consider the man-made fuels that we have. In this case, we have over here to my left, we have a pile of building material and some other things that the landowner has left outside. We can see that there's some cut wood that's stacked almost right up against the house. There's a wood pylon for the deck that there's wood piled up right against that. Any house is going to have these issues where we have building materials and other things for other projects that we have, so we have to figure out ways to mitigate these issues. The best way to do that is what we have over here to our right, where we have the stacked wood pile, the neatly stacked wood pile in a place that's away from the structure, where we have a barrier. We have the gravel here from the driveway. There's no way for that, if that wood pile was to catch on fire, for it to produce enough heat to ignite the house. So in this instance, we can say that the wood pile is a best example for how far away from the house that needs to be, and especially this time of year. So we're out here in late August, mid-August. If we have these man-made fuels where they're so close to the house this time of year, that is going to be detrimental to the fact if we had a wildfire this time of year, because we know this is our problem time of year for wildfires. So the best thing for a landowner to do with these man-made fuels is to consider, especially this time of year, just getting them further away from the house, moving them 30 feet away from the structure, and then we can mitigate that issue quite nicely. So where we're at right now is underneath the deck. Just to discuss the deck a little bit, we have a mixed composition deck here. We have these wood poles that are supports, and then we have the flooring is actually a composite cement boarding, and then we actually have some cross beams that are solid wood. So I mean, really this is a fairly fire resistant deck. We don't have much concern as far as wildfire goes here, and it's great that they've kept down a lot of the fuels where they're not touching the deck at any real point. And then at the same point, what we could do is clean out some of the grasses around these wood supports, and really they're fairly fire resistant at this point. They're not going to burn readily from a grass fire. If there was more timber or some other types of fuels backed up against them, it would be key to clean that out. So what also we have going on down here is we have some natural fuels from different things have been pushed up by the wind. We can see that right here in this corner there's been quite a bit of mulch and some other things that has gone on here. So this brings up a major concern with another portion of wildfire issues are embers. Embers are produced from naturally burning fuels, where we have as the combustion occurs, we have that produces little fragments of wood and other burning material that can be picked up from the wind and carried fairly long distances. And what we can see in large wildfires is we have a strong amount of wind, and we have a lot of embers associated with that, and we actually have what are called ember storms or ember showers. And we can have that, and usually it's just like snow, where they'll eddy and they'll kind of swirl into corners, and we would see embers tend to form into a place like this corner. And so if we have a lot of this stuff that doesn't get cleaned up every year, that we can have smoldering and fire staying in an area like this, where it could produce enough heat to light these landscaping timbers. So that would be something to consider here in this instance, to try to clean up these corners to keep from embers from starting a structure fire from that. So what we're looking at here is the roof of the house. We can see that there's a very flame resistant roof going on here. This is cement tile roofing. This is about as fireproof as you can get. This is great for defensible space and and wildfire concerns. And we can also see the siding of the house is brick and fire resistant vinyl cement siding. So I mean it's about as fire resistant as we can get it, and it's a great example for how to mitigate if you live in a wildfire prone area. So what we're looking at here is the side of the garage. This is a perfect example of landscaping for defensible space and fire-wise. What we're seeing here is that the landowner has put gravel and natural soil backed up right against the house. So at this point there's very little natural fuel, there's very little grasses and forbs and sagebrush going on here, where if a wildfire was coming through, there's plenty of a barrier right here to where that you wouldn't see any fire getting anywhere near the structure because of how well kept it is right here. And this is perfect, especially this time of year from June to October, to keep the grasses and the sagebrush down, especially this close to the cabin. We like to suggest about 4 to 5 feet of space between the house and the natural fuels, just like what you see right here. And the other great thing that's going on right here is that you can see that there's a cement siding right there at ground level, so we don't have any concerns for wood siding or anything like that, where a wildfire would penetrate the house at any point here.